he take out a book from a drawers and he passed the book to me. And as I look at the book, it was a Bible.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
So I was like, did Bible teach people about how to do business?
All right, welcome to our episode 2.
Welcome back.
Yes. So my name is Joanne.
My name is Jonathan.
And we're from Jdot Property. So today, I think last week we talked a little bit about ourselves, and then we mentioned about coaching. So I thought that, today will be good that let's discuss a little bit more of our coaching journey.
Sure.
Meaning that I'm sure that we have coaches and mentors when we started real estate. Maybe we can just, share with the audience about our journey on that. So maybe, John, when you started real estate 10 years ago, you mentioned, do you remember who was your first coach?
Right. So, yes, of course I remember. My first coach is also my leaders. As mentioned, highlighted his name before, Mr. Indran. He truly coached me from real estate. I came in without knowing anything about real estate, right? So it started me with the contract, to really understand the S&P and how do you deal with clients and how do you handle negotiation and showing and all. So I believe that during that journey, right, this person is very important to me.
Why do you say that?
Because without him, right, I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes in my life. Right. So so when a rookie come into a real estate, right, it is very important for them to have a proper structure and guidance.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate the guidance that I have when I started my real estate journey. That also very important that the coach will be able to highlight your blind spot. So sometimes you have blind spot you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we called it a blind spot.
That's right.
So that's how I experienced this, and it's important to my life. What about you, Joanne?
I think for me, I can remember my first 2 coaches. I'm very privileged because when I started real estate journey, I already have 2 coaches. Why is because they were the agency owner. So it was Josh and Eddie. I think really want to give them all the credits because they were really the people that guided me every step of the way throughout the whole transaction. I can still remember when I first joined without any experience, immediately they pulled me into the room, they spoke to me about the whole sales cycle. You have to prospect, you have to get listing in, you have to market and everything else. So they literally was hand holding me to the extent that they even tell me, okay, for advertisement, you don't need to go and spend money to open an iProperty account yet. I can help you to advertise a few listings first, and then I'll pass you the leads, and then you go for appointment, I'll be there. I remember even viewing appointment, one of them at least was there with me lah, and I could see them, how they talk to clients, how they show the property. I think to me the most memorable lesson that I learned from them is how they get exclusive. I thought it was very interesting is because I remember Redfield has always been, very famous in that sense for getting exclusive listings. So they were also a product of the Redfield. And the material they use, the script that they use, the way they engage clients, right? I thought was really good because it set my real estate path right. The foundation was strong, was solid, and I didn't even think of not following what they taught me. So it very naturally, because it worked for when we go for appointment, then I would also cultivate a habit lah.
So were they on the ground with you when you're on appointment?
Yeah.
For how long? So when you first joined that time?
Maybe around 3-4 months. 3-4 months initially. Thereafter, whenever I need support, I will also reach out. So I was also doing things independently, but whenever I especially when it comes to negotiation I can still remember, very funny. So there was an offer on the table, and then and I didn't know what to do. So I called Josh. I said, okay, then Josh will say, okay, this is what you're going to say. You repeat this like words by words. You just follow my script. Okay, so I did that. So I put down the phone, then I call back the buyer. So I tell the buyer whatever Josh told me. And then the buyer will be like, oh, you try to negotiate, whatnot. Then I put down the phone again and I call Josh. Hey, this is what the buyer said. Literally, I think that went on for about an hour and we managed to close the deal.
Oh.
So yeah, it was really that kind of coaching that I experienced in real estate. Yeah, correct.
I see.
Yeah. What about personally, like apart from career do you have other coaches on your personal or whatever?
That's right. I have a life coach.
Yeah.
So David Ong is my life coach. He's a wonderful man. So one thing that I truly want to highlight is that I got to know him in my real estate journey, I think after 2 years in my real estate journey. I remember, how do I get to know him is that I remember he called me to his office and asked about my life, right? So I was very excited when a big boss of company, call you to the office. I thought I'm going to ask $1 million question. It's like, how can you become so successful, and how to become successful, and how to earn the first million, right? I want to ask that kind of question. So during the conversations, I think he asked a lot about my life.
Okay.
I'm actually not interested about my life. I'm very interested about my life in the future.
Yeah.
Because I asked all that questions, right? So I remember I asked him this question and I say, what book do you read that changed your life?
Okay.
And what book do you read that I can read so that I can change my life? So he stopped for a while. He looked at me and then he took out a book from a drawers and he passed the book to me. And as I look at the book, it was a Bible.
Okay. Okay.
So I was like, did Bible teach people about how to do business? And then he said it teach people how to live your life meaningfully. So I couldn't understand at the time, right? So since then, he's been journey with me throughout the years. I think he changes the way I see my life, right? I remember the conversation with him for the first probably 5-6 years. He taught me about developed a value system in your life. And this value system will be the guide that how you do your business, how you treat people. Yeah. And he highlighted one thing is that, love people and use money. Don't love money and use people.
Wow. Can you repeat that?
Love people and use money, and don't love money and use people.
Very good.
And he highlight this thing as we run our business, or when you become a leader at that time, or when you are a coach, right? You need to learn how to love them and help them. It's part of guiding these people. So yeah, I truly I'm very blessed to have a life coach, and even at this moment, he's still journey with me to be a better man, better leaders in the future. Yeah.
Wow.
What about you, Joanne?
I think for me, over the years, right, whether I think remember I spoke to you that it was my husband that sort of reminded me how I usually learn fast or learn the most is when I will go and look for someone to tutor me. So I remember when I was younger, right, maybe like a teenager, Form 3, Form 4, I failed my first AdMaths paper in Form 4, my first semester, I failed. And I just couldn't take it. Like, I have never failed a paper in my life. So when the first paper I failed my AdMaths, I really felt like, I was a failure. And then I was just reflecting, what did I do at the time when I thought I was a failure? Immediately, I went to search. I went to ask around my friends who can tutor me in AdMaths. So that's maybe is how I learn, how I fail forward or things like that, right? So I got a tutor, and it was a one-on-one tutor, and because it's very expensive, one-on-one, so I also go and look for a friend who needs AdMaths tutoring. Yep. And we share costs lah. So then I told my mom, I needed AdMaths tutoring, and it's not. I think at that time it wasn't common for students to tell the parents they want tuition.
Okay.
It's like that time was mainly the parents like, hey, you go for tuition, you go and buck up and all these things. So I remember I was the one that, told my mom I needed this and how much does it cost, and then I'm going to split the cost with another friend. It will be in our house. And I can remember those times, right? This tutor it's very passionate, I must say. He stayed up till midnight just to coach us to pass our paper. And in the end, I did get I think it was A1. Was it A1 SPF? It's A1, A2 like that, right? Yeah, so I got an A1.
I never get A in my life. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I did excel. And then throughout, after that, in my uni days or whatnot, right? I somehow will always look for a tutor, a mentor, or a coach whenever I feel that I don't know something and I want to learn.
Right.
So similarly, every phase of my life, whether is it personal or work, right? Because I mentioned that I was a lawyer at that time also, my pupil master was also like my coach, and then my senior, she was my senior at that time. Now she's a partner, Janet. She also coached me a lot on my work. So in personal life, I feel that leaders in my church or even certain uncle and aunties during my UK time, when I was studying there, these are the people that really, I guess they accepted me for who I am, and they knew what I needed or what kind of wisdom I needed, right? And I reach out, and then they selflessly just pour into my life, lah. And I really appreciate all these people. So I think I do not have like a specific life coach. It was just like different phases of my life. I met different people and I reach out, lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also believe that in every different stage of life, right, and you start asking yourself this question: who you want to become, right? So when you start asking this question that, hey, I want to become like this in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
And it is very important that you look for someone who have been through this journey.
That's right.
And have become that person.
Correct.
And you gotta ask them, can you be my coach?
Yes.
But sometimes the relationship between you and the coach is also important,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Some of the relationship can be very transactional. Some of
Yeah.
the relationship is they're truly interested in your life.
Yeah.
So one of the question is that the right coach, or you are the right person? That one also need to look into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that you also like to 上课. You will pay a lot of money, to go for seminars, webinars, conferences and all these things. So do you feel that you, like those things that you went for, you pay a lot for, are they like your coaches, or how do you view them? What kind of relationship you have with those kind of way of learning lah?
Right. So if I bring myself back in that situation, that I make decision, take out my credit card, 3,000 gone, 6,000 gone.
Yeah.
If I look back, right, I think I was quite lost at that time.
I see.
Reason because I am hungry for knowledge anywhere and everywhere.
Right.
Right. All the coaches out there, whatever things they say, it makes sense one, because they truly know how to deliver the message and know how to, play around with your emotions. That's how you take out your credit cards, I remember I spent, I don't know how much, probably 180,000
Wow.
in 2 years' time, just to join people here and there. You learn a lot of knowledge at that time, but you become even more confused. Right. You become even more confused. From stock to digital marketing to property to motivational coach. It's like every time you go to a seminar, you come out, you feel like a monkey can kill a lion kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
The motivation is that high. But motivation is not sustainable. I think the inspirations is more long-lasting. So I actually truly they are also smart people who are on the ground, on the stage. Then I realized that actually I paid the money to learn. I actually learn how they talk on the stage, to be honest.
So it's like presentation.
It's like presentations, how they can present themselves on the stage, one person to 1,000 people or 2,000 people. and how they conduct the seminar from the moment you come in, from the entrance, first sessions, what kind of content that you want to do, and then second session, how do you want to upsell your course and all. I realized that one is more valuable than the content that they're presenting.
Okay.
So I changed my focus at that point of time
to
really learn how to do presentation. And number two is that the skill, that the question that they ask about the people in the hall, and how they bring out, how they go deeper to really ask about a question that is deep down in your heart that's holding you back. I think these are the things is really, really important. I think content, right, can change.
Yeah.
But the way you ask question, the way you carry out the conversations is more important. So if you ask me to spend so much money, I think I learned this quality from them.
The communication skill, right?
The communication skill, how do you carry out the coaching conversations and the right question. This one really important. So the content today probably not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Right? The motivation,
True.
it will change. So I learned all that. So so
that's interesting. I was just thinking, like, I think it's also not wrong that people pay for a coach for a season of time, right? I think we are also doing that now. We do pay for coaches to just mentor us in a certain area of our business, and it's fine to be transactional in a way, because this coach or this mentor has that credibility because they have done that, and they are willing to coach you. But of course, it comes with a fee. I think there's no right or wrong.
That's correct.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong to that. But I think what is important is why do we go and seek for a coach or a mentor? Like, what's your mindset behind it?
Correct. Now, what changes is that I would think that attending seminar and training, that one is fine. That one is okay.
Yeah.
You feel that is important to you. I think the other level is that you find a coach at your very personal level, a small group at a personal level, and the question is that why do we need that?
Why do we need to be coached by someone? Like, let's say, for example, like, if I'm a person that I think I can read up on my own, I can YouTube, nowadays content learning is free. Everyone can just Google, just go and look for YouTube tutorial. But I think you and I feel that there is more than that. There's more than free content and whatnot.
That's right.
But I just want to hear from you is like, why do you go and seek for a coach or a mentor?
Right. I would think that, assuming that we are doing this, right? Media things, we're doing a podcast, we're doing a home tour, building a media powerhouse and all. We can find a lot of sources from internet. Hey, how do you do this? What things do you need to buy and all, right? So now that one is just knowledge. It's not experience. Now, getting a coach, right, is someone who have done it. They are sharing with you about the experience.
Correct.
And what is important is that you are not going to ask them how to be successful. You're going to ask them, what are the mistakes that you make so that I can avoid? Or what are the mistakes that I definitely need to go through so that I can learn the lesson. Some of the lesson you can only learn through a mistake.
Yeah. Agree.
And the coach cannot come in and tell you that don't do that so that you burn your hand. You don't know what is the burning feeling, right? You got to do it and burn your hand. So I think that is important. I truly think that understanding what are the mistakes, understanding what causes failure is important so that you don't repeat the same thing, right? So, but what do you think?
I think for me, accountability lah. I think having a coach, right, it's more than just teaching us what we need to know or what we want to know, but it's also keeping us accountable. So I feel that whenever that we try to learn things on our own, or we try to keep ourselves in our little bubble, right, that is actually quite dangerous. You may think that, don't worry, I have my own pace, I will learn to track my own progress. But we're all human beings. Whenever we start to do things by ourselves and we don't want to disclose or don't want to let people know what we're doing, right, that's where the danger would start to seep in. Why I say that is because because, you know, we tend to be lazy sometimes, we tend to miss our own deadlines, but you will tell yourself, oh, it's okay, you know, I'll try again tomorrow, which is fine. But ultimately, to help us to progress faster and in the right direction, accountability is something that is very important. And
Agree.
especially after COVID, right, I realized that because of COVID, we tend to already isolate ourselves. I mean, it's a mandatory isolation during COVID time. And this habit sometimes may even encourage isolation from people. And I feel that nothing can really beat human contact, human interaction. And I feel that I'm very deeply convicted. We are meant to have community. We are meant to have relationship with people. And then when we isolate ourselves, like, it's quite dangerous. I feel a lot of people during COVID times, we hear stories about depression, we hear stories about suicide. It's just really dangerous because you are just talking to yourself. You are hearing your own voices and things like that. But when we have someone who is objective, who is outside of the bubble, telling us and seeing, like what you said, blind spot, right? Then we get to say, oh yeah, you know, how come I never thought of that? You know, oh yeah, you know, maybe I should do this. And when we have someone accountable, then we are able to meet our goals. I think the likelihood is higher to meet our goals. So that's just my thought.
That one also very important. I think a coach in your life is to really teach you how to think.
Yeah, true.
Right? Is to change the way you look at things so the things change, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel we get trapped. Yes. We are in the bubble, exactly like what you say. Now, let's talk about this journey, right? 10 years journey I've done. There are period of times that I hit the ceiling and I'm looking for breakthrough in my life.
Okay.
Right? And 他们每次都讲瓶颈, you know, the 瓶颈.
Okay.
What do you call it?
Plateau. You reach a plateau already.
Plateau already, right? So you're trying to find a ways to, you know, break through and all.
Yeah.
And at that point of time, you truly need a coach. When I first joined that time, I need a coach to teach me how to kickstart the whole journey.
Yeah.
Right? And then throughout the journey, you reach to a level that you 遇到瓶颈.
Yeah.
And what is missing is that you're probably missing a relationship with a coach. You need to look for a coach who will help you to break through. Yeah. Help you to break through is basically to change the way you think about that 瓶颈 that you are having right now. We call it the ceiling of achievement.
Yeah.
So when you change the way you think, or the coach try to influence you to change the way you think, you change your behavior.
Correct.
And when you change your behavior, you change your actions.
Yes.
And when you change your action, the result change.
Yep.
Right. So I think, exactly what you say. The coach is important when people are having, for example, if people were in sales and they don't have sales, right?
Right.
It's easy to get into depressions and it's easy to doubt yourself. That's why coach is there to help you. And I always say this, why coach is important is that as a salesperson, right? Whoever in our team, why coach is important is that sometimes when you make a mistake, right, at least we know how to recover back. Yeah. Okay. Not just physically, but emotionally. If there's no one next to you and you make a mistake, you don't know how to recover. That's where you go into depression.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, when you go out, 你撞到黑青 already, right? A coach is know how to 帮你捽.
Yes.
A 鐵打 we call it. Know how
yeah.
to recover it back.
Correct. So now we switch gear a little bit. You know, earlier on we talked about who were our coaches, you know, what values that we receive from them and whatnot. What about us coaching others? You know, I'm sure that you actually previously you led a team of about 30 over people. Like, what was your experience in coaching others? Yeah.
One thing that I can confirm is that there is no one style fit all kind of approach. I think everyone is different. And I truly appreciate that they give me the opportunity to coach them.
Yeah.
It also gives me an opportunity to understand a little bit. As you coach them, right, you realize that everyone are different. Their motivation is different. Their goal is different. And the experience is that how do you carry out the conversations? I think number one, you truly want to understand why do you want to do this? Okay, why do you need coaching sessions? And why is it important to you? So what is holding you back?
Yeah.
And you have to go very deep to really understand why. So the moment as a coach, right, if you really understand deep down what they want, you know how to coach them effectively. So I think that's the experience that I have.
So you will try to do a analysis with them, what they need, what's their big why. Then that's where you will start, in a sense. You diagnose first, then you coach them more effectively.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
And of course, most people actually know what they need to do,
Yeah.
but they don't do it.
Yes.
So if
correct.
they don't do it, what do you do, Joanne?
So I think for me it's a bit different because this would be the first team that I co-lead with you. Initially, I didn't have a team to lead, in a sense. But if I look back in my life, like personally or in work, right? I guess my first experience of being a coach or being a leader when I was a teenager. I still remember back in the days in church, right? Our pastors will always encourage us, the older ones, the older kids, guide the younger youth. So I remember when I was in college time, I have to lead a bunch of 13 to 14 years old people. And of course, at that time, I didn't felt that I was a coach. But now thinking back, right, hey, there was a coaching element in there. There was a mentoring element in there, and the whole leading people, and basically it's teaching them what we learn, what we experience, the life stories, the mistakes that we had, and just telling them, hey, if you made certain decision, there are certain consequences that you have to bear. And so that was probably my early exposure of me leading people, me coaching people. And I think fast forward till today, we have a team of how many? 6, 7 people, agents, right? So then it's a different type of coaching because not just knowledge, but we also have to model what kind of leader we are, what matters most. I think for our team, it's always about resonate with Keller Williams, where it's God, family, business, and it is in that order. And I think that's why we really love this value, this company's culture and whatnot. And we also try to create the kind of culture in our own team. So now coaching in the sales team or whatnot, I think it's different because you are the one that goes down to the ground with them, and I'll be the one that's the operation side. And then now we have this new media team. Then it's like, wow, it's another, probably, I don't even know, am I eligible to coach them? Because obviously they have more skills and knowledge in the media side. But perhaps then I would have to think, okay, like what you mentioned earlier, it's not just about knowledge, right? It's about the value. What kind of value we want to pass it on, to our team members, and I think that is something that I'm also trying to learn. On this coaching journey, lah.
I will also think that as a coach or as a leader, things that we are doing right now, I think it's also very important to create the culture where everyone can come together.
That's true.
And focus on the goal that we set, right? Building up a media team and a real estate is not two different things. It's actually part of it. It's an ecosystem that we are trying to build and help people, right? So I also think that to really cultivate the culture and the value in the team, where everyone understands God first, family, then business, and everyone understand this value, right? We will work very differently. Otherwise, every morning when we come into office, we'll say, how many deals you close already?
Yes, correct.
Like how many calls you make? But you don't even ask what are the challenges or what are the problem that they are facing right now. I think the culture and the value is important in this journey. One last thing I want to highlight is that when we are looking for a coach, right, or when we are coaching somebody, what we're trying to do is that we want to cultivate the practice that will set you up for success. And if you understand, if you do step 1, step 2, step 3, you can be successful. But what is holding you back is that the consistency, right? And that's where the discipline come in. And have you been disciplined by your parents before?
Yes, very much.
Is it good?
I guess, I mean, now looking at hindsight, I appreciate that they discipline me lah. For sure lah, yeah.
That's exactly what we need to do now.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I need somebody to do that to me also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
Correct. Yeah, I think that's really spot on lah. It's about the discipline and the consistency. So when it comes to this, right, like back to the topic where we coach others, any challenges in coaching people? Like what are your challenges that you have faced before? The common problem lah, the common challenge when you coach people.
One of problem that I am facing, or it's not I'm facing, I used to had before. I'm coaching someone who doesn't want to be coached.
Okay.
Right? You sincerely want to set this person up for success, but they don't take this seriously. Right? Then you realize that, is this meaningful? So this is one of the challenge. So I think at this moment right now, if I want to coach someone, I want to know their willingness. I want to know their readiness. I truly want to know why you want to do this.
Yeah.
And that will help to build the relationship.
True.
I can only help them if they are seeking for help.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, if I try to help this person and this person don't need help, right?
Yeah.
And you keep helping them, they will hate you.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. And I think that like for us coaching people, to me maybe the challenge is the heartache lah. It's like it's exactly like, you know, you are like both of you coach as a coach and a coachee, you all agree on the same goal. Then somehow along the way, you know, maybe life get distracted, you know, the coachee lost the motivation on the goal, and then you try to help them, and then eventually they cannot tahan and they leave lah. So I guess then you think back on your own. For this kind of coaching, we don't charge people, right? Because they are our team members and whatnot. We don't charge. That is, you think back, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, you have invested time, energy, money, most importantly, the whole blood, sweat and tears with this person. And then this person just felt that, I think no need already. I think this goal is no longer meaningful to me. I want to walk away. So I felt probably as a coach, that is maybe to me it's something that I have to also have a different mindset.
Right.
It's about mindset lah. I feel how do I view this coachee when the coachee decides to leave. Yeah.
So it sounds like you feel heartache when people give up too early.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, the direction is correct.
Yeah,
already.
correct.
You just need to take the pain a little bit. You just need to embrace the pain. You know, just 1-2 more months you can see result. But they just give up. Does that hurt
I think
you
so.
or make you sad?
I think it does. I think the word probably it's a little bit disappointed lah. I think the word is disappointed when you are heavily invested in trying to help this person, but the person just decides to walk away or decides that, you know, this is no longer relevant to their life and things like that. As much as, yes, we need to respect the person's decision, but I think because again, you know, it's when we coach, right, it's not monetary, it's not a transactional thing. It's about you trying to relate and do your best to help this person. So I guess to me that is probably the challenge as a coach lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome this challenge as you
I don't know, have I
forward?
overcome it? But I guess it's a more like a seasonal thing where I just have to tell myself, okay, it's fine. It's fine that this person has moved on. And I think to me it's just trying to have another, how do I say, put myself in the person's shoe or put myself in the coach's shoe that, hey, you know, if let's say I really feel that being real estate agent is no longer what I want, or the goal that we agreed on is no longer relevant, then I cannot force lah. If I force this person to be in a coaching relationship with me, then it's a bit like what you say, it's not very meaningful anymore. So I think that's how I try to tell myself that, hey, yes, maybe the initial reaction is like, oh, I'm disappointed. Like, you know, I'll get upset a few days, but after that I have to move on lah.
Right.
I think the key is just to move on.
Correct. I think I had that feeling before.
Yeah.
I know how it feels.
Yes.
I think somebody come and share with me is that sometimes we can only bring this person from point A to point B, or maybe to point C.
Yeah.
And at that point of time, maybe you need, or that person need another coach to bring this person to point C and point D. So we need to, so that person really helped me to understand that, hey, your current knowledge and your experience can only bring this person to this person. Yeah. At that point of time, you need to let this person go.
Correct.
Right. So I think what will help us to change the way we think is that maybe we just need to keep growing.
Correct.
Right. Make the mistake, share the mistake,
Yes.
and the more you grow, the more you share, the more you become better.
Yeah.
Like exactly the person say, those who refresh others will be refreshed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you will continue to make people feel refreshed along the journey, right?
Yeah. Maybe last thought on this episode on coaching is like, I think we covered on like who are our coaches and who were our coaches and the values, and then also our experience in coaching. Final thought is overall, right? What would be your final thoughts to audience who listen to this episode on coaching lah? Maybe I'll go first.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe I'll go first. So I think something just popped in my mind is, to me, growth is everything. So if you are not growing, if we are not growing, then, our, like, when we reach at a 瓶颈, like what you just said, if you're not growing anymore, I just feel that then what is all this thing that you're doing for all about lah? I always believe in, whether personally or in business or spiritually or whatnot, right? Growth must happen.
Yes.
When we are stagnant, actually we will become very smelly. When a stagnant water and whatnot, right? It will turn sour, smelly, or things like that. And then our life would be not very fulfilling anymore when we are not growing. So I always feel that whenever we are not growing, that's where we really have to really dig deep lah, and be honest with ourselves. It could be pride that stops us from asking for help. It could be, you just feel that people, the whole fear of man, like you feel so, your self-esteem is so low that you feel that, this coach will not 看不起我的, I feel that, I'm worthless, people wouldn't want to spend time to coach me, and all this self-thought, all this negativity probably are the ones that's stopping us from looking for a coach. So I just want to encourage whoever that's listening, reach out. If you're not growing already, you should reach out. And for those who are growing, better still, coach someone.
Yep.
When we coach someone, actually, right, we are the one that's benefit the most.
That's
correct. And we will grow as we coach. I think that's just my final thought on this.
Sure. That's a wonderful message. I also think that one thing that I can accept is that everyone have limitation and everyone have blind spot, right? If you understand this concept that you have limitation, you have blind spot, you want to look for someone who can really point out your blind spot. Yeah. That's number one. I think number two is that why do you need a coach or a leader or a buddy next to you, right? Is to be your sounding board. Exactly, you don't want to be isolated, correct?
Yeah.
Isolated, you don't know where it's a blind spot, you don't know who to talk to, nobody, bouncing idea with you.
Yeah.
So sounding board is important.
Yes.
If you understand, somebody can be there to look into your blind spot and also be a sparring partner.
Yeah, correct.
Right? You are going on the ground fighting, we are in a very highly competitive market.
Yes.
And you really need someone to train with you first before you go on the battlefield, right? So that's my message to everyone and also to myself, that I constantly need a coach.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all for episode 2. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.